Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And so today we are going to be debunking some misguided Mulan live action information. So if you haven't known, one of my latest videos I made a couple days ago about the live action Mulan, which, by the way, everything I said on that video I stand by still. But so I made that video, and people were like, about Mulan, people were like, very, very positive, and I thank you guys that were being very, very positive about the stuff about my video and how the movie was just terrible, and agreeing with most of the stuff. But of course, we get some people that don't seem to know what's going on, or just they just don't seem to understand what is going on. So okay, hold on, guys. Is it going? Okay, all right. Anyways, so yeah, so today we are going to be talking about the whole things that people are saying about the animated movie and saying stuff that's inaccurate about the movie, because the movie wasn't based off of the myth of the original folklore myth that Disney adapted to make it more kid-friendly so they could actually make the movie. You get the hypocrisy already, right? Okay, anyways. So, I got a comment from somebody that tried to spin the narrative and put false information about this whole thing about Mulan. So let's get to this. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so this was a comment I got. So it's all here. And, well, we're about to debunk it. So, buckle in the chin strap, guys, because this is going to get a little salty. Okay, so, here's what Mr. Block, who I don't know if it's a he or she, but I'm just going to assume he's a faceless troll, because I looked at his channel, and, well, yeah, no videos, of course. Okay, so number one, 1998 animated Mulan version. So much wrong. Okay, first of all, Mulan cut her hair right before she was about to join the army. In ancient China, it was uncivilized to cut your hair short. That's why the ancient Chinese men had long hair. Hold on. You do realize that this is an adaptation of the mythology. So even if this is true, this doesn't hold any merit, because there is lots of inaccurate things in fiction based off of mythology myths. Okay? There's lots of inaccurate stuff. Cutting somebody's hair in a fictional Disney adaptation does not matter. Okay, let's get that. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is it's a freaking kid's show. Who cares? Okay, like, why are you complaining about this? Like, we have It's Over 9,000 in Dragon Ball Z. Obviously, that's not accurate to the Japanese version. Okay. It just seems like you're nitpicking about something that's just really dumb. Like, oh my god, she cut her hair. You know how many people cut their hair? Kurt Angle cut his hair. Like, what the frig? And he won with a broken freaking neck. What does that matter? Vidal cut her hair. All seriousness, okay, yeah, it's inaccurate, but is it that wrong? Like, it's a freaking fictional movie. You know, it's an adaptation. It's not supposed to be 100% accurate to what ancient China did. Okay. So, second, Mulan was trained by her father as a little girl. The historical Mulan was skilled in martial arts even before she went to the army. Okay. And her father was trained as a little girl. Okay. Or the father was trained as a little girl. Historically, Mulan was skilled in trained martial arts before she went to the army. Okay, what does this matter? Again, as I just noted at the beginning of this video, this was a fictional adaptation. So it doesn't have to be 100% accurate to the way the myth was. Because, again, this is a Disney adaptation. Like many adaptations that Disney has done before Mulan, they did the same shit. They did it with Peter Pan. They did it with Cinderella. They did it with Little Mermaid. They did it with Aladdin. Yes, and we're going to get to that. So, what does this matter? It's not supposed to be 100% accurate to what Chinese culture did. Okay? It's not. It's just a little Disney fictional movie. It's not supposed to be taken that seriously. We're not talking about an ancient China documentary. We're talking about a show being made for kids, or a movie being made for kids. What does this have to do with anything? She was trained by her father at a young age. Mulan didn't take his father's place if she didn't know she could do it. She had to have confidence to do this. The Disney animation version just whitewashed this fact. First of all, don't use the word whitewash unless you actually know what the term is. Because that was not a whitewashing. Whitewashing is when you take an actor that should not be white and make them, into a race that they should not be. This has nothing to do with whitewashing, okay? This is just taking a fictional adaptation and twisting it for a kid. This is for a kid. They can't do brutal violence in a kid's movie, okay? Otherwise, they would never be able to do this. They couldn't tell the real Little Mermaid movie, because the real Mermaid movie, Ariel dies. They ain't gonna do that. The sad fact is, the Western audience are not comfortable with strong women. Who the hell ever said that? Have you ever heard of Sarah Connor? Like, really? I mean, what about Anastasia? I mean, let's bring up Anastasia, the Fox movie. I mean, obviously she had to take, she pretty much had to finish off Rasputin. Like, I mean, we can go on and on about strong female characters. I mean, I don't see why the hell this was even brought up. Disney just made Mulan weak to begin with to create an underdog sympathizer. No, they didn't. They created a character that they wanted to show that a woman could be empowered just like men. Because men, back then, could not join the army. Hell, even back then, as recently, not too long ago, only men could be in the army. Obviously, by this point, women could be, but it's trying to show that women can be just as, just as men. And I thought this was a great, thing to tell. that women could just do just as good as men do. Hell, they do this in Avatar: The Last Airbender with Katara. What the hell does this have to do with anything? Why should you downplay somebody's abilities just because they're a woman? They weren't. They were trying to show her struggles and show that she could do just as much as a man could. I don't understand what you're trying to get at. All women need to be is weak first to be appreciated. She wasn't weak. She had to hide her identity so she could prove that she could be just as strong as a woman. Like, and yes, would this be done probably today? Probably not. But the story wasn't supposed to cover that. The story is supposed to cover a woman proving that she could kick butt just as much as a man could. I don't see how this is a bad thing. Okay? This is a stereotype we are holding on to. We are always surprised when a woman is more capable than a man equivalency. The message of the movie is saying this is wrong. No, it's trying to prove that a woman can do just as much as a man. And it is a very good thing to do that because it's trying to send the message that women can do just as much as men. I don't see why this is an issue to you. I mean, yes, would this storytelling being told today? Probably not. But back then, women needed more empowerment because women weren't getting as much empowerment back then. They weren't getting as much representation. So this does make sense that they would do this back then. Okay? So, yeah, for the time, it definitely made sense. Okay? Third, the song. I'll make a man out of you is very sexist. Okay, so now here's where I kind of halfway on him with this one. Because I can understand why people would think this song is kind of sexist today. But back then, it made more sense. Because back then, like, I never looked at that song as really that much sexist. Because I looked at that song as, you know, a terminology of the fact that, you know, the men, separating the men from the boys. You know what I mean? You know, you guys have heard that term before. You know, separate the men from the boys. You know, I'll make a man out of you. Like, I don't feel like that was just specifically referencing Mulan. I felt like that was always referencing, like, the army in general. You know, I'll make a man out of you. You know, separating the men from the boys. You know, toughness. That is what I felt like that song was. But I can understand why people today would look at that as sexist because of the way the world is now. But back then, no, I wouldn't look at it that way. And yes, maybe it did age. Maybe it did age a little bit over time because of the way society is now today. But back then, I felt like that was more of a toughness type thing because that's how people were. You had to be tough. You had to be, like, strong. You know, and this is just for, and it's not just for women. This is for boys, too. If you weren't a tough enough boy, you know, you got cast aside. If you were in the army, like, even in the U.S. Army, if you didn't do all the boot camps 100% correctly, you were chewed alive. You know, they're going to make a boy into a man. You know, separate the men from the boys. That's what I felt like the song was. I didn't feel like the song was supposed to be sexist. But again, I could see where, you know, his segment on this one is. But again, you know, that's a subjective argument because, again, you know, I still think the song, even if you wanted to alter it, I mean, in Aladdin, they alterated some of the lyrics in a lot of the classic Aladdin songs, and it still worked just as fine. So I think they could have done that here with this song if they had decided to incorporate it, change the lyrics a little bit around so it's kind of more modern, and not really as controversial. But I don't think this really, again, it didn't age well. Nowadays, both men and women can join the army. Yes, that is true. That is true. But but the point of this movie wasn't about that. It was about the past, because that's where it takes place in. Okay, where women typically couldn't join the army. We can't hide that. I mean, we can't ignore the fact that women at one point couldn't join the army. I mean, and that was the point. So that's why they did it. It had nothing to do with them trying to discriminate towards women. It was trying to show that, how far women have come and how far women can come. They did this in Katara. They did this with Katara in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and in the Northern Water Tribe. They, only let men. They only let men do it. Or be allowed to learn waterbending. And then Katara was able to convince Paku to stop because they were related somehow. And then all of a sudden Paku was like, yeah, I'll train you. So, yeah, that's how they stopped that. They send those messages. And those messages are very good, especially for those times. So, I don't think this is an issue. But again, it's whatever. So now for the fourth point, and Shan Li didn't exist. Okay, what does this fucking matter? When he said this, I was like, excuse my French, but what the frig does this matter? It's a fictional adaptation. It's not supposed to be based off the real mythology of Mulan. Shang Li didn't exist, doesn't matter. Also, newsflash. He wasn't erased from the live-action movie because he, quote-unquote, didn't exist. He was removed because of the Me Too movement, because we didn't think it was appropriate. Yes, this is what they actually said. They basically said that the Me Too movement reason is... Or no, where is it? Where's the quote? Where's the actual quote? No, there was an actual quote. I don't know. I can't find the full quote, but here it is. It's because of Me Too. Basically, they didn't think it was appropriate. They thought, oh, here it is. Okay, I think it's particularly in this time of the Me Too movement, having a commanding officer that is about sexual love interest was very uncomfortable, and we didn't think it was appropriate, end quote. Which, by the way, I think that is a stupid argument, because I think any more reason they should have him in the movie, because think about it for a second. Okay, Mulan, loves a dude, and the dude actually finds comfort with the soldier that he thinks is a man, and then later finds out it's a woman. Okay, and they fall in love. So if anything, I think this actually was a good thing to have kept in the movie. It's a very sexual stereotype for the Mulan falling in love with her superior. How? That they both are like one up on each other? Like, seriously? Like, what is the fuck? Excuse me. What does this matter? It's like, I don't know why you support it. Why wouldn't I support it? Why? A woman can't fall in love with her superior? Like, why? It's more historically accurate to a love. Like, why? Again, this is the Disney adaptation. This is not some mythology thing. Like, I seriously don't understand what this guy is trying to get at. Like, some of the arguments he makes is just really outright stupid. He's just going off of the whole, we're just going to do this and do that and whatever. Newsflash, by the way, Aladdin wasn't from the Middle East. So, Aladdin, okay, I want to bring up Aladdin because the original Disney version obviously has Aladdin taking place in the Middle East, pretty much, right? Well, the actual mythology myth of Aladdin takes place in China. Yep, right there. The Disney version did an adaptation. So does that mean the live action movie should have taken an adaptation or a non-adaptation approach from their adaptation of the Disney version? Because the Disney version isn't accurate by your logic. The Disney version is fictional. But then again, guess what? Mulan is fictional. The Little Mermaid is fictional. Little Mermaid takes place in Jamaica. Okay? It takes place around Jamaica. Okay, the Disney version. But guess what? It doesn't in the original. Okay, it doesn't. Danish. I'm sorry, Danish. Denmark, sorry. I can't pronounce today. Denmark takes place in Denmark. The Little Mermaid, the original Little Mermaid takes place in Denmark. Okay? And not Jamaica. Okay, where the Disney adaptation version takes place in. So by your logic, then that should mean then the freaking Little Mermaid should take place in Denmark. Okay? Just like how the Aladdin live action movie should take place in China. Since that's where the mythology actually goes. That's where the mythology goes, according to you. Like, again, these are Disney adaptations. They are all adaptations of the myth, you know, into their own version, in their own happy ending version, because that's what Disney does. They do the Disney format. They do that happy ending thing. No one dies, nothing. They have the romance. That's the Disney formula. Okay? They take myth stories that were barbaric and they make them into these kid-friendly adaptations. Okay, Fox did it too with Anastasia. Okay, because we all know Anastasia was one of the fewest people that's actually based on a real person that they take into a fictional adaptation of that real person, and they give her a love interest and she has a happy ending. You know, it's the same thing. You know what I mean there? You know, this is just so stupid. I mean, this is just dumb. You know, and then, you know, he brings up, though, there was another comment he made later on, which I just got really pissed off at him for it. I don't even see it on here, but whatever. Basically, he was talking about the, what was it? He was talking about the whole thing I brought up about the actress, you know, openly supporting police brutality, which I replied back to him and told him how wrong he was, because first and foremost, he was saying how, the people of Hong Kong, you know, brutally, violently protested, you know, what was going on, and that's why they got beat up by the police. That is bullshit, first and foremost. Okay, last time I checked, the Chinese government is a communist country, okay? They don't have freedom of speech. They don't have freedom of protest. So don't give me this bullshit that, these people, you know, they were violent or whatever. No, they weren't. I seen the videos. I seen all the information, okay, about it. They weren't doing anything illegal. Well, maybe in the Chinese government they were, because in the China government, there is no free speech in China, okay? In China, there is no free speech. I'm making a video right now giving my opinion. I can't do that in China. China, I would get beat up for that, because I can't be open about my opinions in China. You know, people that live in China can't express themselves, and people in Hong Kong, you know, which is supposed to be an independent country, by the way, they want their independence, and basically China is not allowing them to have their independence. You know, the agreement in 1997, when Great Britain freed the territory to China, the Hong Kong territory to China, it was under the condition that they would continue using British government laws in Hong Kong for 50 years. And they have not continued that agreement. Okay, they have not kept that agreement because they are obviously beating the crap out of Hong Kong citizens. So yes, sorry if I have to get on her for basically supporting people that are being falsely oppressed in a territory that shouldn't even be a communist country, a communist territory. Hong Kong should be liberated, and I hope they do liberate that country because, they deserve it. And I don't know why it doesn't come up here on my video, but I was talking about that. I'll see this right now because this film. Where is it? I don't know why it's not coming up. Because I seen it, I replied back to her, him or her, whatever her name is. But yeah. In terms of but getting back to the 1998 movie. This is stupid because, again, it's a fictional adaptation. It does not have to be accurate to the mythology of the Mulan, folklore, the real folklore of it, because it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. It was made for kids. It was made for kids, okay, in 1998. It was supposed to be a fun little fictional adaptation that had a happy ending, that everyone could enjoy. That was the point of the movie. Obviously, Fox was never going to tell the real story of how Anastasia was killed, the real Anastasia. They basically created a movie where Anastasia, for real, lived and basically got with someone at the end of the movie. But, that is what the fun of fiction is. You can create a fictional story. Even if it's based off of a real event, you can take a fictional character and you can basically take it into a different direction. And that's what they did with Anastasia. Even with these, folklore, stories, these fairy tale stories, you can take a character and you can turn them into a different direction. It doesn't have to always be 100% accurate, because the intent of the story is not supposed to be accurate to the actual story. It is supposed to take a story and create a different adaptation of it. And in this case, for Disney, it was following the Disney formula of basically making it a happy ending, having a romance, and being a princess, basically. That's basically the format for Disney. And that's what they did with Mulan in 1998. And that's why people loved it. It had nothing to do with washing or anything like that. I don't even know why you brought that up. I guess washing to you was Americanizing. That's what I'm assuming you were trying to refer to, is that they Americanized it, because whitewashing means that you took an actor that should not be white and you casted them as white anyways, which they did in the last Airbender movie. The animated version just being a whitewashing thing does not make any sense, unless you're going to say that the voice actors, should not have been casted that way, which is becoming an argument now today for some stupid reason. But in terms of the animated version, no, you the actual term you're looking for is Americanizing, not whitewashing. Just for future reference, if you see this video and decide to comment on it. But again, your points are just stupid and invalid. And I've pretty much debunked all these naysayer comments. Because again, it's just, I can't believe people are actually thinking that this is like, and this is obviously a minority opinion. Not many people really think this, nor people really care that much, but I just thought this was so tedious hearing this or reading this, and I just wanted to bring this up. Just pretty stupid. So that's my take on this. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you liked my video or my videos, please subscribe. And that's about it, guys. I am BS's Ultimate Goku Maverick. Peace!